friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. And today I'm going to be trying out a couple of treats with some fresh guava and go over a little bit of this and that with you. So let's get started. Alright, so the other day I bought some guava at the store. I'd never bought fresh guava. The only guava I've ever had was in Ocean Spray Juice years ago. I used to buy their guava juice. I used to just love it. But so when I saw these in the store, some fresh ones, I've never tried them, and so I had to buy them. And the flavor was there, but not the sweetness in the juice, which tells me there was probably a lot of high fructose corn syrup in that juice I used to buy years ago. However, I've been already experimenting with some of it and came up with something pretty tasty that I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to try something else on top of that. So the first thing you want to do with these guavas is that the whole fruit is edible. The seeds are edible too, but they're very hard. I don't mind crunching them, but they're quite difficult. I'll show you if you've never had a guava before. This is just one type of guava. There's a couple others, some that are bigger and all green, and some that are pink on the inside. But you can see all these little seeds in here. They're kind of like can be like chewing on gravel. So keep that in mind. What I'm hoping to do with these is to I'm going to put some of these in my blender over here, and I'm going to make a smoothie out of them, which I'm going to turn into a frozen treat. Now, the other thing that I did try the other day, I'm hoping that the blender will blend up the seeds. You could scoop them out, just cut that whole part out, but to me, I'm looking at how much fruit would get removed because you would have to cut this whole section out. And you know, if the seeds are edible, that means there's good benefits inside those seeds that I want to be getting the benefits of those. So we'll just put a few of these in there. And there's that. And then the other thing I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be using my little manual food processor for this, is making a dip similar to the pumpkin dip I made the other day, and you can find that recipe right up here. So I'm going to be using the goat cheese in this, plus a little bit of something different. So it's not going to be exactly the same, it's just going to be based off that recipe. I'll just do 3 to start with, and that'll leave me 2 more guavas to mess around with. The other idea I had was slicing a couple of these up and putting them in a small jar and fermenting them and see how they turn out fermented. So I might do that with those. So there, those are in the food processor. So let me go ahead and process these up and see how they turn out. The other day when I did this, I did it with a fork. I just mashed them up, and that worked pretty good, but you still have the seeds. So keep that in mind. If you think, you might want to try a little bit first if you've never had a guava and see what you think about those seeds. Again, I personally don't mind it, but I'm that kind of person. I'm a seed person. Most people I'm thinking are probably going to want to just scoop them out. And I don't think the food processor is going to blend the seeds up at all, but I'm hoping the blender will. So I'm going to go ahead and put some of my goat cheese in here. And let's see, I'm looking at about equal amounts. So I put 3 guava fruits in there. So I'm going to put about enough cheese to equal that same amount of guava. And try seeing if I can process that up. Okay, that doesn't look too bad. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in my bowl. It probably would have been just as easy to put it in the bowl like I did before and just mash it up with a fork, or even use my little hand mixer, my OXO hand mixer. And honestly, I cannot remember if this is available on Amazon anymore or not. If it is, I will link to it below. It's just a cheap little hand mixer. Again, I always wish I could find something that actually had a glass bowl and all stainless steel parts or something, but you get what you can, and this has been a real good one. Other than the base that came with it that broke within probably the first few uses, because that's the way I am, I'm hard on stuff. Other than that, it's been a really good food processor, hand food processor, and nothing else is broke on it. It was just the little tabs that held this, that this thing locked into place on the base that busted on me. Something I just thought of, this cheese was refrigerated and so it's hardened up more. Even though I kept it kind of a softer cheese, once you refrigerate it, it does harden up considerably. However, so when I made the pumpkin dip that day, that cheese, I had just made it. It was still very warm. And so the pumpkin dip ended up thickening up even more once I refrigerated it. But it was still really good. So anyway, what I want to do next is add honey to this mix. And this is the Glory Bee Raw Blackberry Honey, which is my second favorite honey. My very first favorite is the honey I get from some friends locally. It is the best tasting honey I've ever had. And local is always best, but if you can't get a hold of local honey, I highly recommend this, and I'll link to the Glory Bee honey below. It is Pacific Northwest blackberry honey, and it is so good. Okay, so I put in what, a couple of tablespoons there, and so I'm going to taste it and see what I think. Okay, that's probably going to need a little bit more honey. It's really good just like that, so it's going to depend on your sweetness level. But I know the other thing I wanted to do was add some coconut. So I'm going to put in about a half cup of coconut. So we get a real yummy tropical flavor. Some other options would be to mash up a banana and put that in here too. However, you would probably want to add a little bit of lemon juice. Okay, that's really good like that. So I think that was, unless I miscounted, I think that was 3 tablespoons of honey. So some options you could do with this would be just like with the pumpkin dip, you could use it with apple or pear slices. You can use it with ginger cookies or any kind of cookies. Some sugar cookies would be good on that. And another thing I was thinking about with this, I would like to try, is making some more of that coconut breaded fish that I made in this video right up here, and then using this as a dip, because I've made like a pineapple coconut dip or some kind of tropical pineapple dip before to go with that coconut breaded fish, and it was really good. And this would be good too because it's still just as tropical as pineapple, just a little bit different flavor. So I'm pretty happy with this, and there's just 4 ingredients, the coconut, the honey, the cheese, and the guava. And then, you know, if you don't like coconut, leave out coconut. Maybe try throwing in something else. And another option I was thinking of trying maybe with this, but I'm definitely going to try with the smoothie, is throwing just a little bit of turmeric in there. It would add a little bit of color and just a little bit more health boost to it. So I'm going to set that aside. So now for the next thing that I'm going to do is this smoothie that I'm going to make is going to be a vegan smoothie, because I'm going to be using the fresh almond milk I just made. And I made this one, I put less water per almonds in this one to make it just a little bit richer, so it would give me a thicker, richer flavor for the smoothie. So I'm going to just pour the milk in there to cover the amount of guava I have in there. So let me hold this up to the camera so you can see that. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is just maybe about a half teaspoon of turmeric. Whoop. And just for a different type of flavor, I'm going to add in, and to help increase the thickness of it, I'm going to use some freeze-dried raspberries. Okay, so we're just going to blend this up. Okay, one thing I forgot to do was add the honey. I'm going to put in a big blob of honey in there. So that's probably about 2 tablespoons. We'll put in another tablespoon, because this is supposed to be a special treat. And then we'll blend that up. I might need to add more almond milk, but let's see how it turns out. Okay, now that's a pretty decent color. Part of the reason I'm putting the raspberries in was to help counteract the color of the turmeric. I was wanting more of a dark peach color, more like the color of the pink guava. So I'm going to give this a try. Very, very good. Very good. So a raspberry guava smoothie with a little bit of turmeric. Okay, what I did was I went ahead and put in the last 2 guavas, a little bit more of the raspberries and honey and almond milk, so I could even out my little half-pint jars. All right, so there we go. I'm going to be putting these in the freezer, and these will be our little frozen treat for tonight after dinner. But again, you could just add more almond milk to it and drink it like a smoothie if you would like. All right, so another thing I want to show you is right here. This doesn't look super pretty, but this is elderberry kefir I decided to try making. So with this time of year, winter time, and coughs and colds and flus are going around, now's the time I try to get more elderberry into our diet, and in the forms of adding to teas or even taking that cough, cold, and flu syrup as a preventative method when we know stuff's going around in the morning. You can find the video on that right up here. Now I am out of my own homegrown elderberries because I used them all in that particular recipe up there, but I do have a good stock of some nice organic ones that I stocked up on from Amazon, and I will link to these below. And so what I did was I made my regular water kefir, and then I strained out the kefir grains, and then I just put the berries right in here into the kefir that I strained out, and you'll see them floating around in there. Now I'm just letting it sit in the refrigerator to let it just kind of keeps the berries and the goodness keep steeping, but it's ready right now. It's fizzy and it actually tastes really good. I did not add any more sugar or anything to it, nothing but the elderberries, and I'd say I probably put about a quarter cup or so of the berries in here because I wanted a good strong blend. Just something to sip on to help keep colds and flus away. And then I also like to add, if I didn't say it already, I like to add the elderberries occasionally to my nightly teas. Just throw a few in, you know, just throw maybe about a tablespoon or whatever into my pot of tea. And you can find a video on some of my favorite herbal tea blends, and I didn't think to mention about the elderberries in that, so you can find that right up here. It's a good choice for winter time to add in there. It's just something I don't really like to have every night because I like to mix it up and get some different flavors. So another thing is, this is the whole of my corn harvest of my glass gen corn. Not a complete success, but not a total failure either. I actually got some really nice looking, they're not very big, but some really nice looking colors and ears in here. So what I'm going to try to do, maybe, it just depends, is I might go ahead and try using some of these for seed for next year to see if maybe trying it again here in our cold, wet climate, if maybe I'll get a better crop of corn out of these ones since they'd be second generation. And then some of these I'm going to try popping and just see what kind of, how they turn out as popcorn, since it is a dual purpose corn. So you might have seen the video of Mr. Rain making this, and I will go ahead and link to that video right up here. And it's got, I just got done using it yesterday, trying it for the first time, making a batch of lip balm. And this is Ylang Ylang Vanilla Lip Balm, and this is a new recipe I created that also involves my own herb-infused oil from herbs from my own garden, and I'll be doing a video on that in the future, so be watching for that. But if you're interested in purchasing any of the lip balms, I will have these on sale. You can contact me at raincountryhomestead@gmail.com or through Facebook at Rain Country Homestead or Rain Country Handcrafted Goods if you're interested in purchasing. Otherwise, you can look for that video when it comes out, and I'll show you how I make it. And using this little lip balm holder was really just, that was the bee's knees. No pun intended, considering there's beeswax in this. That's pretty much it for my this and that, and I hope you'll give some of these guava recipes a try, or maybe even try it with something like mango. Mango would be really good, doing the same kind of thing with. And also, I just had another idea, because I've made a fruit salsa before using mango that was really yummy. You could try adding the guava to your fruit salsas. That would be pretty yummy as well. Well, I guess that's it. So I hope you enjoyed this video and that maybe you learned something new. Thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.